Abhi, I posted the live.
Yes.
Okay. Prakash, எனக்கு name மட்டும் அனு Prakash.
Good evening to everyone. Today, I'm very much happy to take part in my foundation's National Human Rights Day 2020. Yes. Which is a special session organized by my foundation. And this will be marking the National Human Rights Day 2020. And on this occasion, I'm very much delighted and happy to address on a wonderful topic, the universal human rights in an international perspective. The topic also has other two areas which I was requested to cover is broad and then the various other perspective. So this topic is a very unique topic which has to be addressed on this day. And I'm very much happy that my foundation continuously for the past 100 days, we are organizing a lot of national events, international events, national conference and international conference, and various other programs empowering the young students, legal fraternity, and then many scholars, researchers, academicians. And we are also connecting many peoples across India and across the world and connecting them and bringing them to a platform where everybody is getting great opportunities, a lot of informations, knowledge, and insightful experiences, webinars, conferences, symposiums, competitions, and many things we are organizing through this platform. I want to congratulate and I have to appreciate my foundation for all their efforts. And today, on this International Human Rights Day, I am very much happy to be here in the midst of you all. Good evening to all the viewers across India. Good evening to everyone who are watching across the world. And good evening to all my friends, well-wishers, and everyone who are joining the session on the International Human Rights Day. So when we think about the human rights is a very important right, which is now under, which is always under various other disputes. And human rights is the right which all humans seek for their livelihood, for their welfare, and to run their day-to-day life cycle. So the human rights is a very, very important right. The human rights is a right of all the humans who exist in this world. And it is a very, very important right. Before beginning my address on the topic, I want to salute on this International Human Rights Day the guardians and then the protectors and then the saviors who I feel, who the world history has recognized, who are the heroes of human rights, like Karl Marx, Lenin, and then Joseph Stalin, and the great leaders like B.R. Ambedkar, Jenny Marx, and then Joseph Stalin, Fidel Castro, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, and then various other leaders in the human history who are known as the guardians of the human rights, who all fought for the human rights in various levels. Jawaharlal Nehru, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Rajendra Prasad, Swami Vivekananda, Rabindranath Tagore, Subramanya Bharati, and various other leaders, national level and international level, and Rani Lakshmi Bai, and various, I can cite more leaders who all have fought for the rights of the people of their nation and who fought for the rights of the people across the world. They all have contributed a lot to the human rights development, the freedom, the equality, the liberty, the conscience, and then the freedom of life and right to equality and various other rights which the human freedom is ensured and the human freedom is preserved and protected. So there are laws demarcated on the international human rights, and there are a lot of stories, there are a lot of struggles many nations have faced in their struggle towards achieving the freedom, towards achieving their goal to make themselves free from the clutches of the oppression and suppression and domination and the authoritarianism and then the arrogance of various other perspectives. So before I begin, I salute, I pay my tributes, and I laud all their efforts in ensuring the freedom to the people of the nation and across the world. So to today, why we are calling this as a National Human Rights Day? Today in this session, in this national session, I will be covering you the basic human rights and then the UDHR, the articles. What are the basic fundamental universal human rights which are the universal basic fundamental human rights every human must have? These are the things which I'll be covering today. And many incidents also I'll be sharing with you all. What are the struggle the humans have underwent, humans have breaked the obstacles, and what are the victories, the power of the people, the power of the democracy, the power of this humanity has achieved all through the history I'll be covering today. So the National Human Rights Day, it is a day which we are observing today, can be the it is a number of years marking a milestone of adopting the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So many may ask, what is Universal Declaration of Human Rights? After the Constitution of India has been drafted and came into force in India, we all know that Article 14 of the Indian Constitution enshrined the very important principle, the right to equality, the equality before law. All the citizens are equality before law, and all the citizens have equal rights in everything, the rule of law, and various other important articles we know very well. Article 21, the right to life, and it also has various other rights as an integral part of it. So when we discuss about this human rights, the international human rights, we all must be aware of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Now I will be showing you the original document of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which I have in hand. So I will be addressing based on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So this day, the National Human Rights Day, is marking the milestone of adopting such an international legal document, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So in this world, beyond religion, beyond caste, beyond different nations, culture, customs, and various other differences, we all must understand we all are humans. We may have a lot of differences, race, and then various other differences. But beyond all those things, we all are humans. That is very, very important. First of all, when we listen to these kind of sessions, beyond all your indifferences, irrespective of anything, you all must remember you all are human beings. That is very clearly mentioned. Vasudeva Kudumbam, Yadum Mure Yavarum Keli by Kaliyan Pongundranar, in which he says that world is a one family. We all are one family. There is no any difference. There is no any kind of deviations from this kind of an understanding that we all are one family. So the Universal Declaration of Human Rights has articles into it. So in this declaration, many areas are discussed. It has a preamble. In the preamble, it mentions that recognition of inherent dignity and equal and inalienable rights of all members of the human family is the foundation of freedom, justice, and peace in the world. So, to all the human beings in this across the world, there are main things which has to be ensured by the government to them: the justice, the equality, the liberty, the fraternity. So this justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity only is mentioned in the preamble of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and the preamble of the Constitution of India, which has been drafted by the father of the modern India, the father of the Indian oppressed, suppressed, underprivileged, weaker section, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So this is the main fundamental things on which the governance must be. That is very, very important. The people must have the justice, equality, liberty, and fraternity. There should not be any kind of a religious favoritism by any governance. And the brotherhood, the love, the peace, the harmony, and happiness must be spread across the world. All the governments, all the missionaries, all the institutions, all the global organizations, and all whatever etc I can say, which is that to govern the nation, must only have an ideal goal: the welfare of the people of the particular nation and the welfare of the people of the world. That is the only goal they all must have. There should not be any kind of a religious favoritism. There should not be any kind of an oppression or plundering the resources of the nation. So this kind of a setup, how it is possible? Everybody can ask this question. The people of all the country, people across the world, they need education, they need an employment, they need economic freedom, they need a health care, and they all must have a good living standard. These are the main things a government must ensure to the people of the nation and people across the world. This is very, very important. When a leader is elected, when a government is formed, their main aim must be developing the nation, developing the economy, and developing the living standard of the people, giving all the citizens education, the employment, and the economic freedom. These are the main thing the government must have as a priority. And the national security. These are all next to this. But main thing is giving education, employment, economic freedom, health care. These are the main things which is going to directly impact on the life of a human being. They may be poor, there may be weaker sections, people below the poverty line. So there may be differences. There may be rich, there may be poor. We say that rich is becoming richer and the poor is becoming poorer. We cannot, I'm telling one thing, we cannot eradicate corruption. That is very tough. You cannot eradicate corruption. When somebody is telling, I will eradicate corruption, I will say he is a fool. Corruption cannot be eradicated. Corruption cannot be kept under control. But we can have strong laws to mitigate and annihilate this corruption. That can be done. So when we discuss about this articles, the total article 30, in which I want to mainly mention this article 3 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which ensures everyone has the right to life, liberty, security of person. So in this is a very, very important article, I feel, in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which has been adopted by the United Nations Organization and which is applicable across the world. And many countries also adopted this Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So the liberty, life, security. So the liberty and freedom, which covers the freedom of expression, the freedom of speech, the freedom of religion. So the freedom of all the freedom to a human being. And the security, medical security, healthcare security, and then the economic security, the job security, and then various other national security. All the security covers under the right to life. The right to life is a very, very important right. Everybody has a right to life. At the same time, the right to life with the dignity, that is very, very important. So when we discuss this kind of areas, we also have to discuss the current issues, what is happening across the world, across the India, what is happening, the farmer issues, for example. So what is happening in the farmers issue? So these are all the dissent, the expression. When a government is propagating some law, when the government is implementing some law, passing some law in the parliament, the people has a right to express their dissent. People have a right to express their opinion on that. So it is the right of the people. It is the right of the farmers. What they are doing is absolutely correct. So this is a dissent. So in this occasion, what the government must do, they must hold a dialogue with the farmers. They must talk to them. They must listen to their views, and they must listen to their inputs, and they have to make the necessary changes in the law, and they have to implement the law. This is the way. So these are all the freedom of expression, the dissent. So when we are blocking, when we are hampering, or when we are stopping this kind of a dissent and freedom of expression, there we are deviating, there we are derailing, there we are going away from the democracy. This is one point. And when it comes to the bonded laborers, and in the exodus, recent exodus, what has happened during the time of this COVID-19, many laborers from various states, the migrant laborers, they walked along miles to miles long. They walk many kilometers. They walk in the Yamuna Expressway to reach Delhi, to Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh. So these are the things has to be observed. This is a very severe gross violation of human rights. It's a gross violation of human rights. Who has to take care of them? Who has to arrange transportation to them? Who has to give them an opportunity to transport and mobilize from place to place? So it is a failure in the part of the government. Government has a duty to help them to get mobilized during the pandemic situation. It is also related to human rights. So these are the many things. When the rich are able to afford for their medical treatment and the health care in the luxury and then high class hospitals, multi-speciality hospitals, but the poor, they were not able to get a good health care or a good health security or a medical treatment for their pandemic transmission to them. If they are affected with COVID-19, how they are going to take care of their health care? So the health care, the education, the employment opportunity must be free to the citizens. That is very important. So when it is free, everybody's life will be secure. That is very important. So that's the reason I have decided to address on this particular topic today, so that everybody will have a good understanding in the international perspective how we must approach this human rights. Because I feel the human rights education, the education on the rights of a citizen is very important. That's the reason B.R. Ambedkar used to say very clear: get educated and get united and get agitated for your rights. This is the word of Dr. Ambedkar used to say always. And Dr. Ambedkar also says, don't see me as your leader, see me as your weapon. So take me as a weapon and you fight for your rights. So that's the reason Ambedkar is always celebrated by peoples not only in India, from across the world. Millions and millions of people are taking him as an inspiration. So B.R. Ambedkar cannot be kept away in my session, because he is the guardian of the Indian human rights, and he is the stalwart, colossus, and a legend who ensured the human rights, opportunity, all the recognition to the underprivileged, weaker sections, poor, and all the people who are oppressed and suppressed by the domination. So the session cannot be addressed without talking or quoting the words of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So when I'll come to the other important articles, in Article 7 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights discuss about the equality before law, like that the Article 14 and Article 7. So we have to compare that, and we have to see that all are equal before the law and are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. All are entitled to equal protection against any discrimination in violation of this declaration and against any incitement of such discrimination. Here we can discuss about the racial discrimination, what has happened in Africa. Even the recent George Floyd issue, what has happened in the United States, can be discussed here. So the right to equality covers many things. I have cited some examples right now. Even the Negro issues in the ancient America, the pre-independent America, the Negroes, how they are taken as a bonded laborers, the slaves to that nation to develop the United States. That also can be covered. And other thing which I have to cover is the Article 16 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Men and women of full age, without any limitation due to race, nationality, or religion, have the right to marry and to found a family. They are entitled to equal human rights as to marriage, during marriage, and at its dissolution. Marriage shall be entered into only with the free and full consent of intending spouses. The family is the natural, fundamental group unit of society, and it is entitled to protection by society and the state. So the gender equality, the rights of men and the rights of women. So on this Human Rights Day, I have a lot of areas to address, but I am addressing very, very important areas, which is a very valuable education to every human being. So the gender equality. All the women, my views on women, they all must be given a freedom. They all must be given an employment. They must have the right to choice. They must get empowered. And the Indian government must give more representation to women in the parliament, women in the legislative assembly. These are all very, very important, because woman cannot be inside kitchen. Woman is not a homemade. Woman has been created to do wonders. They have to fly in colors. They must have an equal representation in everything. So that is very, very important. Men and women are equal. We should not discuss about any gender discrimination. The gender equality is important. At the same time, men is also very, very important, and women is also very, very important. So gender equality is very, very important for progress of a society. Women nowadays, they are going to Indian Army, they are going to Indian Navy, they are going to Indian Air Force. That is really a great thing, has to be appreciated. Women are going to Indian Army. Women are loco pilots in the train. Women are pilots in the flights. And the women are nowadays great warriors. These are the things has to be appreciated. They must be given opportunities in every sector. So this is a great transformation. Especially in India, we have to appreciate the governments, past government and the present government. They are empowering, they are motivating women in all the sector. So that's the reason when I come to gender equality, women empowerment is very, very important. No one has any right to say that women should have some limitation. Women should have some borderline. They should not cross this border. They should not come up like this. No. They need all the right. They need all the choices, and they have all the capability to achieve and shine in all levels. So this is all the government across the world must ensure this to the women. So, for example, the Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, now has become a Vice President of the world's largest, one of the largest democracy, world's superpower. This is really a great moment for the entire world in this occasion on this National Human Rights Day. So then Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights discusses about everyone has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. The right includes freedom to hold opinions without interference and to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media and regardless of frontiers. So now I want to discuss about the journalism, the newspapers, the media. So nowadays we are coming to the news is that media is deciding factor in deciding a government. Media is a deciding factor to make a leader. Media is a deciding factor in projecting a political party. Media is a deciding factor in deciding a governance of a nation. Then who all are peoples? People's vote should decide. But in India, what is happening? What is happening in India? So the people must always be strong. They must believe on their right to vote. That is very, very important. When people using their vote as a weapon to change a government, to topple a government, and to elect a government, to elect a leader, so that vote cannot be bought for a money. That is very, very important. In these days, we have to put under discussion. So the people should not sell their vote for money. That is very, very important. It is their right. So the one vote can make many changes in the society. So the vote is a powerful weapon that people have in this democracy. When the people are selling their vote, then they are killing the democracy. Then the democracy is in danger. So the people must always ensure that they are using their right to vote in the right way and selecting and electing their leader in a proper manner who is fit to be in that position. So in this area, when I address, the electoral education is important. The election education is important. The law of elections, the people must know. The representative of the people act, the people must know. These are the things which people must get educated. So the journalism media, it's a freedom of expression. It is a freedom of propagating values, news, updates, information, data to the people. But it should not become a freedom to exploitation. That is also very, very important. Many are telling the medias are the modern day Naradas. So the medias may do anything. It's not like that. So there are some media houses owned by a political party those media houses, they will project their own political party, those leaders, and they change the mindset of the people. So the people must be more and more aware, and they must have a knowledge. They should not believe on anything. They must know to take things, they must know to filter things, and they must know to consume the filtered and good stuffs into them. That is very, very important. In the Tamil, we used to say that பகுத்து ஆராயக்கூடிய அந்த தன்மை அதில் மக்கள் மிகவும் தெளிவாக இருக்க வேண்டும். பகுத்து ஆராய்வது என்பது மனிதனுடைய ஒரு முக்கியமான ஒரு அறிவாற்றல் தான் நான் பார்க்கிறேன். So பகுத்தறிவு, that is very, very important to the human beings, because they must know what is right, what is wrong. If I opt this, what will be the effect? If I opt this, what will be the cause and effect? What will be the repercussions? What will be the consequences? They must know very well. It is very, very important to the human being. That is very, very important. So when we discuss about the other articles, everyone has the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association. No one may be compelled to belong to be an association. So everybody has a right to assemble in association. Everybody has a right to protest. That is also right to a human being. But demolishing, vandalizing the public property has to be strictly condemned. So even the protest must happen peacefully, without any inconvenience to the society. And we must fight for our rights. That is also very, very important. And the right to education, the right to information, you all know very well the right to education. Because what I feel is, poor or rich, whatever it might be, the right to education is a very, very important right to the human being, because the education gives you power. The education gives you caliber, the potential power, the capability, the eligibility, and to face anything in your life, any challenges in your life. So right to education is a very, very important right. That's the reason Nelson Mandela, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, all the great leaders, they used to say always, right to education is a very, very important right, and right to education is the right which will change you and the change the society subsequently after you are pursuing your education. So education is the very, very powerful weapon in this world, which is mentioned by Dr. Nelson Mandela, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. So right to education is a very, very important right, which a human can acquire and excel. At the same time, he can also use that weapon and he can change this world also. That's the reason right to education is a very, very important right in human life. And the other rights, Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights discusses about right to education. And the other rights, which I have to discuss is Article 26 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It discusses about the education shall be directed to the full development of human personality and to the strengthening of respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms. It shall promote understanding, tolerance, friendship among all nations, racial or religious groups, and shall further the activities of the United Nations for the maintenance of peace. So here I have to discuss about the international unity, peace, and harmony. So here I have to condemn the international terrorism, because terrorism is the threat to the entire world, to the entire unity, to the entire peace of this nation, peace of the world. So terrorism has to be annihilated in any form, whatever it might be. It may be extremism, it may be whatever, etc. You may add it, whatever way the terrorism, the extremism is emanating, it has to be annihilated in the roots itself. That is very, very important. We must take a resolution to annihilate and throw out the terrorism from this world. So the combating measures, all the nations across the world must take steps in annihilating and combating the international terrorism. That is very, very important. So totally I have covered some important rights from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights: the right to own property, and right to freedom of movement, and right to seek and enjoy in other countries asylum from persecution, and various other rights I have covered today. And no one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention, or exile. Here we discuss about the Article 20 of the Indian Constitution, the double jeopardy, and then other rights which will be covered into that, self-incrimination and everything. And all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. So main principle of all the laws, all the acts, and then all the administration of law is to ensure that all are getting an opportunity, all are getting an education, all are getting employment, all are getting economic freedom, and all are living in love and peace and brotherhood and harmony and happiness and good understanding and unity. These are the main, whatever I said for the past 1 minute, these are the main aim of passing a law, administration of law, set up a government, ruling a nation, and performing all the duties, giving all the rights to the people. Everything relies, everything's purpose is the thing what I have told before 1 minute. So the main aim of the laws, the government, the leader, and the society's day-to-day routine is to ensure the welfare of the people is very, very important. That's the reason we have democracy. That's the reason we have socialism. That's the reason we have all the philosophies, good philosophies, which are aiming towards the human progress, human development, human growth, and the safety and security of children and women empowerment, and then the equal opportunities to everyone. So all must be given an opportunity. Opportunity cannot be plundered. Opportunity cannot be ignored to anyone. These are the main resolution. We human beings must take on this day. We human beings must take on this day a strong resolution. We must respect everybody's talent. We must respect everybody's skills. We must give opportunities to everyone. We must give education to everyone. We must do charity. We must spread love. We must spread peace. We must create a lot of education institutions. What I say very strongly is, library, the education institutions has to be constructed more and more, and everybody should get education. That is very, very important. Because the education is necessity. Education is the wealth. Education is the property. Education is everything one human can acquire, and it cannot be destroyed. It cannot be vandalized. It cannot be distracted, or it cannot be erased from the human memory, and it cannot be, what to say, bombarded or whatever, etc. I can add it. Education is a permanent wealth. You come to this world with nothing. You go from this world with nothing. But when you are in this world, you must get an education. But that education will make you to do lot of wonders, lot of achievements, lot of progress, lot of honor, lot of levels you will be achieving. And there you must ensure that you are loving the people, you are helping the people, you are helping the progress of many human beings, and you are developing many people, you are giving good hands to the people to get developed, and you are giving a human welfare which you got from the society, you must give it back to the human beings. That's the ultimate purpose of a human life. Everybody should remember, resolve, and swear, and then take this as a resolution on this National Human Rights Day. So this is very, very important point I have to address. And the 30 basic human rights, the list of rights I'll be telling you now. Please observe this 30 basic human rights of the human beings across the world. Right number 1, all human beings are free and equal. Everybody must be free. Everybody must have an equal opportunity, equal rights in everything. That is very, very important. Second thing, no discrimination, no race, no caste, no culture, no custom, no nationality. No way we should not discriminate any human being. All are equal. No discrimination, no color, no racial or whatever, rich or poor, no discrimination. Everybody is equal. Nobody is inferior and nobody is superior in this world. Everybody has an equal opportunity. Everybody has equal recognition and everybody is equal, whoever it might be. This is very, very important thing which we have to remember in our life. Third point, the right to life. Everybody has a right to life. Everybody needs a good shelter, good clothes, good education, and good place to live, and good opportunities to excel. So the right to life. Everybody must have a good food. So these are the main thing we have to remember. Third one, no slavery. No person, no children's. The child labor must be abolished. The forced labor must be abolished. The trafficking, the drug trafficking, anti-trafficking laws must be strengthened. Humiliation in any form must be abolished. And all the slavery and then forced labor must be abolished in the society. All must get an education. For their education, they must get an employment. This is very, very important. So fifth one, no torture and inhuman treatment. No human being must undergo torture. No human being must be treated in an inhuman way at any place, in any society across the world. And same right to use law. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. So every human human being must be recognized as a human being. Every human being must be recognized for their efforts, for their capability, for their everything. So that is all one human can acquire only through education. Equality before law, right to treated fair by court, the court process, the court procedure, the free legal aid which we are giving to the person who is not able to afford for his litigation. So the lawyers, we must have a very, very important duty. When a person is not able to afford for a lawyer, we must have a clemency and mercy to help them for a free legal aid. We must help when you are arguing in a court, when you are practicing as a lawyer, when you have money, when a person has money, you get the money, you charge for them. When a person is poor, don't charge for them, argue for them in a free, do free legal aid service, conduct legal awareness programs. These are the main point which we have to learn from all these rights. When a person has the money, you charge them fees. When a person don't have a money, you argue for them free, help them. This is very important because these are the ways we can render justice. These are the ways we can protect the law. These are the ways we can give a good remedy to the poor, the weaker section, because they all have a hope on the doors of justice. So when we lawyers, when we the people in the legal fraternity have the mercy and clemency to serve them, there the justice is upheld. This is very, very important. You all must know in this way. And no unfair detainment. So the arbitrary arrest, detention, and exile, which I discussed earlier, that only covered under that, and the right to trial. So the fair and public hearing, the court procedure, in a fair manner, everything must happen. There should not be any partiality. There should not be any favoritism in rendering the justice. This is very important. Innocent until proved guilty. Many, when a person is arrested, they used to say that this person has committed an offense. This person is the person who is guilty. No, till anything is proved, when the prosecution is proving beyond any reasonable doubt, every person is innocent. So when the guilty is proven in a law, then only a person is guilty or the offender or the person who has committed the offense. These things we have to remember. So until and otherwise it is proved guilty, all are innocent. As a lawyer, as a person belonging to legal fraternity, we must know this very well. Right to privacy. The right to privacy is also an integral part of the Constitution of India. You have to read this Puttaswamy case. This is very, very important. You all must read that. The right to privacy, and then the freedom to movement, and then residence. And then everybody has the right to have a residence, a home. And then in this occasion, I have to thank and congratulate our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi, because Prime Minister has promised that he will be constructing home. He will be giving free home to the people of India by 2025. This is really great. This has to be appreciated. And the Clean India has to be appreciated. The Swachh Bharat mission has to be appreciated. Toilets has been constructed to many people across India in villages and various other streams. The Narendra Modi government has done a great job in giving infrastructure. And then the toilets to the poor people and to the village also is getting a good development. Now they are competing with the urban. It's all because of a good governance that has to be appreciated. Right to asylum, right to nationality, right to marry and have a family. Here many people used to ask me a question. Right to marry and have a family, sir. So I can love any girl and I can marry her, and then I have a right to create my own family. Yes, everybody has that right. I'm not going to deny that. So the right to marry and have a family is the right of every citizen. So right to love is also added here. So right to marry and have a family. So everybody has a right to love. So you can love. So right to own things. Everyone has a right to own property. But always you must remember, I am connecting the right to different rights with principles of life. Everything has a limitation. Too much of wealth will put you under trouble. Too much of property will put you under trouble. But human will not get any satisfaction. But principles and rights teaches us what is our ultimate purpose of life. So everything with limitation, everything in limit, it is always happiness. This is the main thing we all must remember. And freedom of thought and religion. If you have a thought, if you have an idea, if you have any views, you can express it through an article, through a newspaper write-up, or through writing a book or poem or whatever it might be. So everybody has this right. And the freedom of religion, that is very, very important. I always say, I won't criticize any religion. I always respect the religious sentiments of the people. We must always respect all the religion. That is very, very important. Because religion is a great hope of a human being. And religion teaches love, peace, harmony. You can compare everything, my dear friends. All religion teaches three things: love, peace, harmony, brotherhood, and then service, the charity, the compassion, the passion to help the people. So the right to religion is a very, very important right. You all must have this kind of a mindset. You must go to temple, you must go to mosque, you must go to church. Always respect all the religion, all the religious sentiments. Never ever criticize religion, because religion is a belief and then a feeling of a human being that cannot be put under criticism, that cannot be discouraged. And religion must always be respected. So always ensure that you are respecting all the religion. You may be atheist, you may don't have any belief on God, you may don't have any belief on anything, but don't criticize. There is no use of talking about whether God is there or not, whether God exists or not. No use of talking about them. But ensure you are respecting all the religion, all the religious sentiments and all the religious feelings. We have to respect them. That is very, very important, because each and every human has a belief. So nobody has any right to criticize on any religion. So the religious freedom is also a very important right. And the propagation of religion is also very important. So freedom of opinion, the freedom of expression, the right to assemble, the right to democracy, the right to vote covers under this. The right to social security, the right to work, the right to rest and holiday. So right to go for vacation is also right. Right to social service, right to education, right to cultural and art, doing performances, taking part in culturals, taking part in various cinema and whatever it might be. You have a right to go for a movie. You have a right to act in a movie. You have a right to become a model. You have to right to entertain people. So these are all rights. So all these rights must be recognized. Freedom around the world, to move around the world. And whatever we are doing, everything must be subject to law. That is very, very important. That is very, very important. So when I say all these things, the right to love, the right to go for cinema, with the right to go around the world, or right to take part in cultural activities, right to do the artistic works, right to act in cinema, whatever it might be, everything must be subject to law, and we should not breach or we should not be the law breakers. We must always be a lawmaker and we must always be a law preservers. That is very, very important. But very, very important, human rights cannot be taken away. Human rights cannot be taken away. So, through this session, I am very much happy to discuss whatever I have discussed about the human rights is a handful only I have discussed today. So these are all the important rights which I have listed down and I have discussed with you all today. But in this day, we all must take a resolution that we must be a guardian to rights of all the human beings. We must respect all the religious feelings and we must spread the love, peace, harmony, happiness, education, opportunity, recognition, development, progress, and etc. etc. I'll be telling even more. So we all must be in a positive track. When we are in the positive track, I am damn sure we will be helping many. We will be spreading love. You may have a lot of challenges, you may have a lot of hardship, but the right of a human being, wherever, Subhash Chandra Bose used to say one word, when you are looking at arrogance, when you are looking at evil activities, when you are looking at law breaking situation, when you are looking at certain situation, you are put inside where the people are violating the law, when the people are committing lot of crime and lot of offenses, if you are not asking the question why you are doing this, then no use of living as a human being. This is the word Subhash Chandra Bose used to say. Subhash Chandra Bose, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose used to say, when you are looking at some violation of human rights and you are not asking any question to the violator and you are moving away from the place, you are the person who is the silent spectator, who is the reason for that violation. So this is the word Subhash Chandra Bose used to say. So all human beings, we all have lot of responsibilities, lot of duties and lot of commitments. Whatever the position you're achieving in your life, you always ensure you do the duty from the position what you have achieved. You have all the capability, potential, all talents are hidden inside you. Only thing is, you must be in the right track. You must be in the positivity. Always, you must read a lot of things. Life of a poor people. You are up. Many people are down to you. Look at them. Don't look at up. Look at them. Those who are down to you. Those who are below you. So think about their life. Whatever the steps you're taking and keeping in your life, always remember you are serving, you are helping, you are the reason for somebody's upliftment and somebody's development and somebody's progress. That is very, very important. So this National Human Rights Day has given me a great opportunity to brief within 1 hour many important human rights, which is a value-based education. Every human being must learn. Every human being must have an awareness, and every human being must apply in his life for the betterment, for the unity, for the harmony, for the peace-spreaded world in which we are living. So the earthly life is a very, very temporary state. We are not going to be here for so many years. It's a very temporary state. But in this temporary state, we all have a great responsibility, a great duty as a human being to take care of our society. So in this occasion, I also must thank the many guardians in the justice. We are Krishnan Iyer, Justice Bhagavati, many other guardians in our judiciary, Professor Dr. Madhav Menon, Professor Ubendra Bakshi, and various other legal luminaries who lived as a guardian of justice and who upholded the values of this judiciary. And they all are a great inspiration to our great legal fraternity in which we are part of. And we all must take great lessons from them. Falius Nariman, and then various other eminent legal luminaries. So this is a great opportunity on this National Human Rights Day we all have to take a new resolution in our life to serve the humanity, to serve the world, and to work for the welfare of the people of this world. This is very important. So in this occasion, I'm very much happy to narrate and brief a handful of learning what I learned from the international human rights and from the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and from the legal education what I acquired for the past 5 years. Even if I get more hours also, I'll be able to discuss even more rights, even more interpretation, even more analysis, and even more updates and new general knowledge also I can share with you. So to conclude, I wish to say that love and knowledge is a great wealth a human can have. Along with this, you can add education. Along with this, you can also add the peace working forces. So two things are deciding the history, the evil forces and then the good positive forces. So two forces has a place in the history. So you human being, you human must decide whether you are going to be in the good books of the world, whether you are going to be the bad and evil books of the world. But two forces are always deciding the cycle of this earth, the cycle of this history, the cycle of the human progress, the cycle of the human development. So you must decide which part you are going to be, whether you are going to be the good, whether you are going to be the bad. Think about it. So now I conclude with these words, and I thank the digital partner AJ Unlimited, Mr. Ajay, Ms. Rupa, for their wonderful technical support, and then the technology contribution what they have supported me for the various events and this event in a successful, in a spectacular, in a unique, and then qualitative manner. I have to thank them for that. And I thank all the viewers, all the participants, and my well-wishers, my friends, and all the viewers across India and across the world who are watching my address on understanding the universal human rights, broader perspective, and an effective session which my Castrol Exedu Foundation has organized. I thank all my foundation members, national members, international members, and my foundation well-wishers and the ardent followers and supporters of me, who all are a great source of energy, power, and invigoration behind me in all my steps, in all my progress, in all my success. So with this, I conclude my session and I thank all for the great opportunity. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. May India always be first. May India always prevail even after we leave. But we all must contribute to our Bharat, to our Bharat Mata. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Thank you so much.